Sensei Fabia, you mentioned belonging earlier. Could you talk more about that and what you mean?
Yes, and I can give you an example, a good example. You have to be cognizant. You have to know where you belong. Because think about when people go to a job every day and they don't like it. The energy, it's depleting their energy. They don't know. They think this is what I have to do. You have to know where you belong. Because uh, I'm working on my third publication right now, and it's fascinating. It's about my dad when he was captured as a POW under the Japanese in the Philippines in the infamous Bataan Death March. And he was 23 when this happened. So he was a Philippine scout first, and then he went into the American Army, United States Army. And he was thinking, he knew the Japanese were all around in the Philippines. And he had these thoughts. He was thinking, what if I get caught? What if we get captured? And what would it be like after I'm captured? So you see, he's kind of dwelling and spending time thinking about something that hasn't happened, or hopefully not happened. Not that he wanted to be there, but he just was thinking. And the next thing he knows, he said, I'm a POW. I'm captured. I'm at this camp and I see I don't want to be there. So he's there already. And his thoughts are, this is not where I belong. Second, this is not where I'm going to die. You see, he had already this conviction. While the whole time he was there, he had he said it was necessary to have two existences. One was an escape mentality, always looking at the patterns of the day, when would be the right time to escape. The second was to be submissive, so they wouldn't know that he was going to escape. And it was not easy being there because of the brutality, the torture, starvation. He was athletic, my dad. He was 5'5" and weighed 100 and maybe 140 pounds, but all muscle. Right at the onset, he lost 30 pounds. Immediately almost, because they weren't fed. They weren't given anything to drink. And they had to do physical labor. I don't know how they did that, because he started losing his muscles, you know. So he had a conviction. And when he had this conviction, he had that to keep it, because he had to have a goal of escaping, and not just, I'm here and this is where I am and this is how it's going to be and they have control of me. He didn't go there. Why? Because he didn't have a victim mentality. You know, the victim mentality, really, there are no victims. It's a mindset people get into. So he had that going for him, and it was important. But around him, he was surrounded by his peers, and his peers were saying, how are they going to find us? There's no possibilities here. How, we're way out here and they keep moving us around. So they had already surrendered mentally. We're never going to get out of here. So my dad still didn't think that way. He was adamant about, this is not where I'm going to die. And it's a creation. And my dad didn't die there. So he talks about there's a fork in the road. And in the fork of the road, one leads to destruction, one leads to creation. And in life, we're always having this fork in the road, aren't we, David?
Absolutely.
We're always having to make decisions, and we have to look at the law, how it's going to affect us. But he said, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, I had to constantly make decisions because it was happening, things were happening all the time. So this is very, very important. If you're in a job it's not a right fit for you, don't stay. It's going to affect your sleep, your appetite, your emotional state, you don't realize it affects every area of your life. If you're in a place you don't want to be, you have to make changes. Think about in a relationship, if it's not the right fit, and you stay, and you know it doesn't feel right, and you have to leave. You can't stay in something that doesn't fit you if it's not a good fit, you know. And everything starts out as a good fit because you don't know yet until it isn't. And then you'll know. Okay? You'll know. So just like when I started these other martial arts, it wasn't the right fit. They couldn't give me what I was looking for. If I would have stayed there, it would have been destructive. So, and it would have affected my progression in life. And everything is about your development. Is the bottom line is, are you developing? Okay, so that was a really good example about my dad and how he wasn't going to stay there because he had met my mother before he was captured and he wanted to be with her afterwards. So he had a goal, even more. He had a connection. And he was saying that's why many military men maybe they get married before they leave. It helps them to come back to. And even though they don't know if they're going to return, it's something that they needed inside, okay? I don't want to get too far off, but I'm giving you an example of the importance that it can be very destructive if you're somewhere or with someone or in a job and you don't belong there. You have to leave and find a better fit. So I hope that answers your question, but
That's good.